Hello, 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 hello. Well, we've been on this bus tour for a little while, but it's worth it. And thank you guys for coming out. Hey, before any speech I ever make, you know I always acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because he said if you don't acknowledge him, he's not going to acknowledge you. And I'm going to knock it on him to let me in. I also want to acknowledge my wife, Julie, who's in this race with me, and it's been a tough race. It's been a tough race. Hey, they've spent almost $60-something million against me already. And the race is virtually tied. I'm ahead by 2. Yes. But I'm going to tell you right now how I'm going to win this race, and the reason I'm going to win this race, because God is a good God. And I told them that when I got into this race, I said, God has prepared me for a moment and time for this right here. And I'm going to walk you through it, and you're going to be able to see it. And then you'll be able to know why I'm going to win this race. Because I tell you, I started out in this little town called Wrightsville, Georgia. And I tell everyone, if you got 1 year to live, move to Wrightsville, because that year is forever. Same old, same old. And my mom told me I was big bone, which meant I was fat. And I used to have a speech impediment where I couldn't put a sentence together. So for 4 years of my life, I never spoke in a classroom. For 4 years of my life, I never went out for a recess. Because the grace of God at that time was preparing me to get a chance to go to the University of Georgia. He prepared me to get a chance to go to the University of Georgia, and I got to get to the University of Georgia, and let me tell you, I won a Heisman Trophy. I got to the University of Georgia, and I got a chance to be on the 1992 Olympic team. Can you believe that? And then I got a chance to go play 15 years of pro football. But then he had to get me ready for something else. And this is what was so funny, because when God needs to prepare you, he has to break you to build you back. And what he did to me, it was kind of funny, because I didn't understand it at the time. Because what happened to me, they told me I had a mental problem. I'm like, mental problem? How in the world could Herschel Walker have a mental problem? I'm talking about myself in third person, but I know that. So I happened to go to this hospital, and as I'm looking at this hospital, I'm thinking, wait a minute, everyone here is crazy. I'm not like them. Then I realized I was identical to who they were, because we all fall short of the glory of God. So as he started building and molding me, I got out of that hospital, and all of a sudden for 15 years, every 3 weeks, I was at a military base where our men and women in service, the true heroes of this country, our men and women in service. But I'm going to get to it. Wait. I'm going to get to it, because this is going to tell you the reason I got to this. Because I'm going to tell you this little story. It's going to be short and brief, and you can get it now. Because I remember this man telling me this story about this guy that died early in life. He died early in life, and as he got to heaven at the pearly gates, St. Peter met him at the pearly gates. And St. Peter said, sir, you're here a little bit early right now, that your name ain't on the roll. But he said, you're the only one in history that's going to get an opportunity to decide where you want to go. So I'm going to take you to heaven, and I'm going to take you to hell, and you determine where you want to go. So he puts him in this elevator and takes him all the way down to hell, and the doors open up. And there's a party going on. People having a good time. He sees some of his friends down there, and he having a great time. And after a couple of hours, St. Peter came to him and said, are you ready to go? Are you ready to go? And the guy said, I got to leave. He said, yes, you got to leave. This is important. He puts him in his elevator, takes him all the way up to heaven. And the doors open up. People are floating around on clouds, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, St. Peter came to him and said, have you made your mind up? Have you made your mind up? And the guy said, well, St. Pete, I hate to tell you this, I think I want to go to hell. So that seemed like my type of place. I want to go to hell. St. Peter said, are you sure? He said, yeah. So St. Peter puts him in his elevator, sends him all the way back down to hell. Now the doors open up. It's hot. Hotter than this. People are crying. They're just miserable. And all of a sudden the guy goes, wait a minute. A couple hours ago I was here, there was a party going on. And Satan shows up and said, a couple hours ago I was campaigning. And I tell you that You want to ask me why I'm running? A lot of people are campaigning for you. They're telling you lies. They've been telling you this is the new normal. And I'm going to tell you that it's not the new normal. But what we need right now, we don't need politicians, we need warriors. Warriors that's ready to go to Washington and tell people that right now, you're not going to separate my people. You're not going to tell us because you're black, you're white, that you know this or that. Because I remember Dr. King, and I'm running against a wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's trying to tell you because of the color of your skin, you're no good. You're an oppressor, or you're a victim. I'm here to tell you you're victorious. And that's what it is, because God don't know the color of your skin, he knows your heart. But we got to get it straight now. We got to get it straight, because right now, they're trying to fool us and take us down in that elevator and tell us that we're no good. And I'm here to tell you we are. But it's our option come November. Right now, this early voting, we get an opportunity to change it. We get the chance to change it, because what they've done now, our men and women in blue, defund the police, we got to blame ourselves for that. We saw it coming, and we let it happen. Our men and women in blue right now, the morale is down, recruitment is down. Right now, they've made criminals more important than our police officers. And we let it happen. We let it happen because they were going to call you a name. They're going to call you all types of names. They've been calling me names. I don't know if you've seen some of them. They've been calling me names, but God prepared me for this moment. They called me a coon the other day. I don't know if y'all seen it. I'm like, guys, they don't know I'm from the country. Hey, a coon is one of the smartest animals out there. Call me what you want. Hey, call me what you want right now. What's my problem I got with you? The problem I got with you right now is you're not defending my men and women in blue. Right now, there's crime on the streets. There's crime on the streets right now. You go into the Lenox Mall, you can hire a security guard to take you through the mall. That's not the country I want to live in. That's not the country I want you to live in. That's not the country we need to be in. So we got to stand up. And let me get to our military. I love our military. That is the reason we're the greatest country in the world. We have the greatest military in the world. The most best lethal fighting force ever assembled was right here in the United States of America. But what we've done now, we had our leaders in Washington that now want to bring pronouns into the military. Pronouns. I can promise you right now, China, Iran, Russia not talking about pronouns. How you identify. That's it. And I can promise you they're not even talking about making a tank out of electricity, because you can't charge a tank out in the desert. What they're talking about is war. And we're talking about pronouns. Bullets don't have pronouns on it. Grenades don't know the color of your skin. But yet that's what we're bringing into our military. I'm saying not on my watch. It's time for us to put leaders in Washington that's going to do the right thing. And I'm running against one of those wolves in sheep clothing. Y'all saw him. I saw him Friday night. He thought he could bring his fangs out on me, but I said, I've been washed in the blood right now. It ain't about that. It ain't about that. And all he thought, now, did y'all have a doubt that I beat him? Did y'all have a doubt that I beat him? I never doubted it one time. I told him this country boy was going to show up. But he don't realize that when I show up to win. I don't show up to lose. I show up to win. And all of a sudden, he got angry. He got angry in there, and he started blaming everyone else. Quit blaming and start coming up with solutions. Even when they brought up that eviction, he was evicting people. Remember, he said, I'm a Matthew 25. Matthew 25 don't talk about putting poor people out on the streets. They talk about when I'm hungry, you fed me, Lord. When I didn't have clothes, you clothed me, Lord. Not putting anyone out, but he got real wealthy as he put them out. And then he blamed me. I'm like, I got nothing to do with it. I didn't even write the article. I never seen the article yet. And then he brought Dr. King in it. You heard him brought Dr. King's name in. I said, Dr. King got nothing to do with this, sir. Don't bear false witness, sir. Don't bear false witness. You've been doing that for too long now. You've been doing it for too long. Now your judgment is coming. His name is Herschel Walker. That's why the Lord has prepared me for this. He prepared me for this moment. And I'm ready for this moment right now. Because I'm going to tell you here, when I start talking about he voted with Joe Biden 96% of the time, they get mad. I'm saying if you either voted for him for 96% of the time, you had no clue what you were doing. So you pick what you want to pick. It don't matter. You had no clue what you're doing, or you voted with Joe Biden 96% of the time. Take which one of them. Because you didn't vote with Georgia. Georgia is hurting. Gas prices, grocery prices. And now I'm going to tell you this. Hey, you better look out. Because it's getting around Halloween. It's getting around Halloween right now. Hey, they're bringing fentanyl over that southern border, and they're dressing it up to look like candy. They're dressing it up to look like candy. Though we got to protect our kids, but they're not protecting them in Washington because they don't want to talk about this border. It's their fault, and they got to take the blame for it. Stand up. Don't take us down in that elevator. Don't fool us like this is a new normal. Hey, we're a country of immigrants, but we're also a country of laws. And we got to get back to being a country of laws. Because if we don't get back to that, we'll become a country of nothing. We're not a country at all. So we have to come together and do the right thing. I remember Coach who said, do what's right. It's easy to do what's right. But right now, we've elected people to Washington that forgot about to do what's right by the people that elected them to office. I told you I would do it. Call me, Lord, I'd do it. I don't care. Call me, I'd do it. I don't care what they call me. Call me names, call me what you want, but maybe you're not going to hurt my family. And you're not going to go in my schoolhouse and tell my kids there that you're an oppressor. You're not going to go in my schoolhouse and tell my kids there that you're a victim. Because you're not going to train our little minds and indoctrinate our kids. It's time for us to fight. It is time for us to fight for that next generation. You know, they say I'm just a football player. You're right. That was the start of it. That was the start of it. Because the Lord had to prepare me. He had to wash me in the blood, which they don't know what that means right there. I don't think they understand.